Hello students, let's start with the analysis of class 12th MP board IP paper. First of all, let's start with the objective type MCQ question. Question number 1 is it return a number rounded to a certain numbers of decimal places. Options are mod, round, dove and sine. We obviously know the round function is used to round the value to the nearest place. So the correct option is round function. Second question. A tree structure blank can be installed as relationship. Options are one to many, one to many, and many to one. So the correct option is one to many, singular one, and then we will go for the many in the tree. Third, third is a series is a blank container of data. We all know that series is a linear thing. So 1D, 2D, 3D, infinite. 1D is the correct option. It is a linear, it is a list. Moving on to the fourth objective, a blank in the computer network is used to unite two or more network segments. We are talking about network segments. Bridge, hub, modem, switch. Obviously, hub is not used to connect, it is used in the internal. Modem is also used in internal. To external. Switch is same as hub. Bridge is used to connect two different networks. So the correct answer is bridge. Bluetooth is a blank device. Wired, wireless, computer, plastic. Obviously, we all use Bluetooth. It is a wireless device. Moving on to the next sixth one. The virus that spoils the data files are what is called? Boot sector virus, exe.virus, com.virus, या data file virus. The correct answer is data file virus. That sums up with the MCQ. Let's move on to the fill in the blanks. First fill in the blank. Blank returns the square root of a number. So the square root function is sqrt and a parenthesis square root. Okay. Next, moving on to the next blank. Blank is a two-dimensional array with heterogeneous data. Obviously, the two-dimensional array is data frame. Okay. Series is 1D, data frame is 2D, and panel is 3D. Keep in mind. Third, blank is a free Python distribution for spiky stack. Obviously, Anaconda. Anaconda is a free Python distribution. Moving on to the next one, VoIP. VoIP stands for Voice over Internet Protocol. Next, the domain name for educational institutions is the domain name, the extension we use is .edu, education. Okay. Sixth one, blank is a legal means of protecting an author's work. Author's work is protected by copyright. Very good. Let's move on to the next questions. Fill the blanks are done. True and false. Let's start with true and false. First, minimum function returns the maximum value of the selected column. Obviously, minimum function returns minimum value. It is given maximum, so it is false. Panda is a Python software package. Normally, we would correlate it with pandas, but the written word is panda, so it would be false as well. Panda is nothing. Pandas is a package. Keep in mind. Third, in full duplex mode, the data transmission ends in one direction only. As the name suggests, full duplex, the data flows in both the directions, so it is also incorrect. Fourth one, tree topology is not a combination of star topology and bus topology. This statement is also incorrect because we know that star topology is obviously a tree topology is obviously a combination of bus and star. So the answer is false. Moving on to the fifth one. Ethical hackers are also called white hat hackers. Obviously, we know that white hat hackers and ethical hackers are one in the same, so it is absolutely correct. Moving on to the sixth. FOSS stands for free and open source software. Absolutely correct. This is also true. Moving on to the next questions. Answer in one word. Let's see which is the first question. Write the name of the clause that is used to arrange an identical data into group. As simple as that. It is group by. Moving on to the next question, write the full form of SQL. Very simple, structured query language. Next up is write the name of any two Python applications. Python applications can be packages as well, or the direct. In packages you can write pandas and obviously numpy or rather matplotlib also, and in applications you can also write like web development or GUI interface creation or game development, both can work in it. Moving on to the next, what is computer network? Obviously, computer network is a group of interconnected computers. So that sort of answer is correct. Last up is IPR. Full form of IPR is intellectual property rights. Moving on to the next question is match the columns. Very first match the column is AVG. We remember AVG is a function, is an aggregate function which finds the average value of the given numbers. So the correct option is C, returns average value of a number. Very good. Moving on to the next is request. Request again is a Python library. So rich Python library, HTTP library. Okay, that's the correct answer. E, rich Python HTTP library. Moving on to the third one, LAN, MAN, WAN is obviously types of computer network. So computer network is the correct answer. Fourth is phishing. Phishing is a type of social networking attack. So it is social networking. B, social networking attack. Fifth one is cyberbullying. Obviously, we know that under cyberbullying, harassment and trolling comes. So the correct option is D, harassment and trolling. Oh, that sums up with the objective type questions. Let's move on to the questions now. Write any two characteristics of database management system. Obviously, database management system is used to store. What are the characteristics? Some of the important characteristics are reduction of data redundancy and moreover no repetition of data, that is it, and data consistency. This could be the characteristics. Second part of the sixth question is write any two applications of SQL. Applications of SQL are, as we know that, to create data. It is used to create tables, insert, update, alter, delete. These all things are the applications of SQL structured query language. Moving on to the seventh question, write any two features of Python Pillow. Obviously, Python Pillow is a library that is dedicated for pictures and photos. Okay, so first feature would be that it would handle pictures. It could be used to open pictures and edit as well. And apart from that, it supports multiple formats like JPG and all these different types of format. It has a large variety of formats that it can support. Overall, moving to the next question, write any two disadvantages of Python. Very important. Disadvantages of Python are, first of all, as we compare to traditional languages like C, C++, the speed of execution is slower, and moreover it requires large memory for management. Okay, so these are the two. You can write any other as well, but that's it. Moving on to the eighth question, what is histogram in Python? Obviously, histogram is the visual representation of data. So when we represent data in a visual form in the form of bars, that is known as histogram. Moving on to imsave function in Python. Okay, imsave function is used to save images in Python program. Okay, you can elaborate on that, and that's it with the eighth question. Moving on to the ninth question, what is email? Email is an application of internet. Email is electronic mail. We can send, receive mails using dedicated servers. You can elaborate like this. Moving on to next, what is e-commerce website? Very important and repeated question. E-commerce website are the business related websites such as Amazon, Flipkart, where we can buy or sell products. These are all called e-commerce websites. Next up, 10th question. First part we have got write any two advantages of star topology. Very good. In star topology, we have a central hub or switch, so it becomes very easy and very comfortable to use. Apart from that, One other advantage is when the central device is working, any of the cable is faulty, the system stays stable. So it is also, it is very practical topology as well. Okay, moving on to the next part, write two difference between bridge and repeater. First of all, what is bridge? Bridge is used to interconnect two different networks, whereas on the other hand, a repeater is used to repeat the signals. First one, bridge is a connection, whereas a repeater amplifies the signal. Bridge, two different networks. Repeater works on the same network. Okay, moving on to the 11th point. What is digital footprints? Digital footprints, as we know that being a part of digital world, we all use internet. When we use internet, we use some footprints. We leave some footprints like what we access. These all data are digital footprints. They can be traced back to the user. Moving on to the electronic waste. Electronic waste is the e-waste, which normally is all the electronic parts that are non-usable and that is thrown, that are discarded from use. Can be anything, can be a remote controller, can be a mobile, can be any electronic part from our home. Moving on to the 12th question, write any two psychological issues of using technology. Very important question. Using technology, we can face health issues like eye strains, back problems, and all these comes under psychological problems. You can list any of the two health related problems. Next part is write any two effects of physical slash ergonomical health effects of technology. Obviously, this is related to comfort issue. We have wrist problems, we have back problem, we have neck problems while we are sitting. When we are not sitting in a comfortable position, these all things arise. So you can list any of the things. Long hours working on a computer can result in various problems. Okay. Moving on to the 13th question, this sums up with the 2 markers. Now we will move on to 3 marker questions. 13th question, write about any 3 aggregate functions in SQL. Very good. There are many aggregate functions. You can write about average function. You can write about greatest. You can write about smallest, min, max, anything. You just write couple of right. You will write the syntax and that would be a good thing. Moving on to the next, explain the following functions with syntax. Very good. Syntax is very important. Now function. Now function gives you date and time. Select now function. This is the syntax to use it. Next is rtrim. Rtrim, again this function is used to trim white spaces. And it is R, so it will trim anything from the right hand side. If you give nothing, it will trim white spaces, or you can trim some value as well. Okay, so the syntax would be select rtrim and you will give some value into the argument and it will work. Concat ws, concat function is used to interconnect something. If you give multiple things, it would interconnect it. Very good. Moving on to the 14th question, what is a line plot? Explain in brief. Line plot again is a visualization method in which we use to represent data. In this, we use points to represent the data that is changing, and we will join with a single line to make a graph so we can easily understand our data. Moving on to what are the differences between series and data frame. Obviously, we know that series is a single line or a list, and data frame is not a list, it has multiple columns. Series is 1D, it is 2D, and these could be the differences. Okay, moving on to the next part. 15th, write about 3 types of web browser. There are numerous web browsers. You can write about Internet Explorer, which is the most traditional Internet Explorer. You can write about Google Chrome, which is one of the most advanced and good used. You can write about Brave, you can write about Apple Safari. There are numerous. Mozilla Firefox also one of the greatest open source web browsers. You can write about any 3. Okay, write any 3 difference between router and switch. Okay, 3 difference between router and switch. Most probably router is an network which connects our home network to the outer network, whereas switch connects our internal networks. Router can have a single connection, switch can have multiple connections. Router decides the best specific route, switch is just for the connection between various computers. Okay, moving on to the next part. Write about the areas encompassing in cyber law. Okay, so cyber law, it works on various things, cyber crimes such as cyber bullying, cyber stalking, harassment, online frauds, and many other things. You can list any 4 or 5 things. Okay. Second part is write a short note on following hackers. Who is hacker? Hacker is a person that hacks, that use digital devices to gain unwanted access over your network or your computer. That is a hacker. Moving on to trademark. Trademarks are the logos, are the symbols, are the punches that are used by the company, that are authorized and that are related to their company. So we cannot use it. Next is direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism is a type of plagiarism in which the user directly copy paste majority of the portion and uses it, okay, without the mention of the real owners. Okay, moving on to 17th question. Write about delete insert statement of SQL with syntax and examples. Okay, very important. Delete and insert statement. Let's go on with the delete statement. If we use delete statement, we will select some column and then we will give a condition to delete. In insert statement, we use insert into column name, then we will give some values to be inserted into the table. These are the statements and syntax. Second part of 17th question, write about having an order by clause of SQL with syntax and examples. Obviously, okay. Using the having clause, in having clause you will select any column and having and then a condition. This is the syntax. Moving on to order by, we will select the common, again an order by ascending or descending, both will work. These are the syntaxes. Moving on to the next part and the final part of the paper, these are all 4 marker questions. Very important, elaborate, detailed description is required for these questions. So we will start with it. Write a detailed note on concatenation in Python. Okay, so this in Python we use concat in order to connect 2 strings or 2 lists. It is an additional connector plus connector that will be used to connect. Okay, so give a detailed information about it. Write a note related to the use of Panda for reading and writing CSV file. Okay, so how do we read or write CSV files? So the function used to read is read underscore CSV function. This would be used to read, and if we talk about the writing CSV portion, to underscore CSV, and we will give the name of the file directly in both the conditions in the argument section. Okay, write in the detail about it. It is that only. Moving on to the next 19th question, what is web hosting? Very important. Web hosting is related to the services provided by the server to upload your website related details on the web server. Then only the other people would be able to connect to your website. Write about any 3 types of web hosting. There are numerous types of web hosting, specifically speaking about shared web hosting, in which there are multiple websites on the same host server. It could be dedicated server. There would be a single server dedicated to single website. There could be resellable server. People used to resell these things, and so on. Or it could be virtual private servers as well. So anything would work. Any 3 would be good here. Moving on to the next part of the 19th question, what is computer network architecture? Write any 3 advantages of peer-to-peer architecture. Computer network architecture is actually the design, the layout of the computer network you create. And speaking about 3 advantages of peer-to-peer connection, peer-to-peer is point-to-point connection. 2 devices are directly connected. So first of all, it is very easy to find the mistakes if there is any. There is no need of complex servers, so the price also drops. And one more thing, there is no such thing as a central server, so every system can work as a client server. So these could be some of the advantages of peer-to-peer. Last and final question, Write any four features of Information Technology Act 2000. There are many features. To sum up, it recognizes digital signature. Second could be it recognizes digital records. Then it describes the cyber crimes. And fourth, it describes how they should be punished or prohibited. Moving on to the last part, explain any four of cyberbullying, any four types of cyberbullying. Okay, so what is cyberbullying? Cyberbullying is to bully someone. Basically, four types of cyberbullying could be cyber stalking, could be trickery, could be doxing, could be trolling, harassment, dissing, could be even flaming. You can explain any of the four things you like. Okay, that's it with the MP Board IP paper class 12th. Okay.